Okay, dear students, in the last class, we saw how Two had reached the palace of Battenberg and how he impressed the captain of the guards and was able to meet the Archduke. And he showed one of his paintings, the picture of Virgin Mary to the Archduke. Okay, now let's continue. The Virgin's picture was a splendid painting, and the Archduke made up his mind at once. He embraced and kissed him on both cheeks. He said, "I shall be delighted to make you my court painter." He directed him to the chair and made him sit on it. "Well, my dear fellow," he said, "you do have a tongue in your head and you certainly seem to know how to use it. You are a very talkative fellow, aren't you? Your Highness, may it please you to remember me and my donkey Jeff for just one moment." To reply, "My donkey has been feeding himself fairly well all along the way on the thorns in the hedges and the grass on the roadside. But I have had nothing to eat for the past 3 days. My stomach has been complaining very loudly. Perhaps Your Highness can even hear it now. I have been feeding myself with the dreams of good food and drink at your royal table." The Archduke smiled and said, "Well, my dear fellow, you will certainly have something more solid than dreams to feed on. Where is your donkey?" "I left him outside, opposite the palace. I shall be most grateful if Jeff is looked after. He needs a little fodder and lodging at night," said Tim. The Archduke immediately ordered the donkey to be taken care of, and he added, "Treat it like one of my own animals." Before long, supper was served, and it was like a wedding feast. The tables were loaded with every kind of food and drink. Wine flowed like water. The courtiers stuffed themselves with the choicest dishes. The Archduke made Till eat and drink until his stomach was about to burst. The Archduke too ate heartily. His face was flushed with drink, but he seemed lost in thought. He suddenly looked up and said loudly, "Our court painter must paint our portrait so that we will have the satisfaction of leaving our memory to our descendants. We too have to take our place in history along with our noble ancestors whose portrait adorn these walls. It is sad to think about death. We do not know when God will think fit to summon us, but our portrait should be painted." Okay, students, let's look what does that mean. The Virgin's picture was a splendid painting, and the Archduke made up his mind at once. Virgin is Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. The Virgin's picture was a splendid painting, splendid, beautiful. And the Archduke made up his mind at once. And he made up his mind, which means he decided. തീരുമാനമെടുക്കുക. Made up his mind means തീരുമാനമെടുക്കുക. At once. He embraced. This is the act of embracing. This is the way of showing love to another person. And kissed him on both cheeks. And he kissed till on both his cheeks. He said, I shall be delighted, happy. I shall be happy to make you my court painter. So I shall be happy to make you my court painter. He took him to the chair and made him sit on it. So he made him sit on the chair of the court painter. Well, my dear fellow, he said, you do have a tongue in your head and you certainly seem to know how to use it. So he said, you do have a tongue in your head and you certainly seem to know how to use it. So this sentence means he is very wise or intelligent. You do have a tongue in your head and you certainly seem to know how to use it. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നീ ഒരു ബുദ്ധിയുള്ളയാളാണ്. You are a very talkative fellow. Talkative. A person who talks a lot. Aren't you? Your Highness, may it please you to remember me and my donkey, Jeff, for just one more minute till reply. So, Your Highness, O my King, may it please you, may you be happy to remember me and my donkey, Jeff. So Till was riding on a donkey, and the name of that donkey is Jeff. For just one more minute, Till replied, my donkey has been feeding himself fairly well all along the way on the thorns, in the hedges and the grass on the roadside. So my donkey has been feeding himself fairly well. My donkey had been feeding himself, eating. So my donkey had been eating, ഭക്ഷണം കഴിക്കുക, fairly well all along the way on the thorns, മുള്ളുകൾ, in the hedges, this is the hedge, a number of trees growing together in the hedges, and the grass. So the donkey was eating the thorns on the hedges and the grass, which was on the roadside. But I have had nothing to eat for the past 3 days. But I did not eat anything for the last 3 days. My stomach has been complaining very loudly. My stomach is complaining about not getting food, and that complaint is very loud. Even Your Highness can hear it now. I think Your Highness, that is the King, can hear the complaint of my stomach. Till is saying, എൻ്റെ വയറിനെ കുറ്റപ്പെടുത്തുന്നത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കേൾക്കാം, കാരണം ഞാൻ 3 ദിവസമായി അതിന് കഴിച്ചു. I have been feeding myself with dreams of good food and drink at your royal table. And I have been dreaming, സ്വപ്നം കാണുക, of good food and drink at your royal table. So I have been dreaming that when I come to your palace, you will give me good food and drink, royal. That is something associated with kings. The Archduke smiled and said, "Well, my dear fellow, you will certainly have something more solid than dreams to feed on." So the Archduke smiled. He was very happy, and he said, he was very happy because of the way Till said that he was hungry. "Well, my dear fellow friend, you will certainly have something more solid than dreams to feed on." You will definitely, തീർച്ചയായും, have something more solid than dreams. You will have something more solid than dreams to feed on, to eat. You will get something more than your dreams. But where is your donkey? But where did you leave your donkey? "I left him outside, opposite the palace." So I have left him outside, opposite to the palace. "I shall be most grateful if Jeff is looked after." I shall be most grateful, thankful, നന്ദിയുള്ളത്. I shall be very grateful if Jeff is looked after. If you look after Jeff, or if the soldiers look after Jeff, I will be very thankful to you. Look after, നോക്കുക, പരിപാലിക്കുക. He needs a little fodder. Fodder is the food for animals. And lodging, a place to take rest. വിശ്രമിക്കാനുള്ള സ്ഥലം. At night. So he needs a little food and a place to take rest in the night. Said Till. The Archduke immediately ordered the donkey to be taken care of. So the Archduke immediately commanded. What was his command? What was his order? That the donkey be taken care of. And he added, "Treat it like one of my own enemies." The Archduke immediately ordered the donkey to be taken care of, look after. So he ordered the donkey to be looked after. And he added, "Treat it like one of my own animals." And what did he say? "You should treat the donkey as one of my own animals." Before long, supper was served. Supper, food, dinner was served, and it was like a wedding feast. What is a feast? This is a feast with a lot of food items, and it was like a wedding feast. The tables were loaded with every kind of food and drink. On the table, there were all kinds of food and drink. Wine flowed like water. What is wine? I think you are familiar with. Wine is a kind of a drink made from the fruits. So wine flowed like water. The courtiers filled their stomach, വയറ് നിറയ്ക്കുക, with the choicest dishes, tasty dishes, different kind of food. So the courtiers, the people in the court, രാജാവിൻ്റെ കൊട്ടാരത്തിൻ്റെ ആളുകൾ, filled their stomach with the tasty food. The Archduke made Till eat and drink until his stomach was about to burst. And he also made Till eat and drink till his stomach was about to burst. So he made Till eat till the stomach was full. The Archduke too ate heartily, happily. His face was flushed, become pink in color. His face had become pink in color with the drink, that is the wine. But he seemed lost in thought. But he was thinking something. He suddenly looked up and said loudly. So he looked up മുകളിലേക്ക് നോക്കൂ. And said loudly, ഉറക്കെ, ഉച്ചത്തിൽ, our court painter must paint our portrait. Our court painter must paint our portrait. So what should he do? He should paint our portrait. So that we will have satisfaction of leaving our memory to our descendants. He must paint our portrait, he must paint our picture. So that we have a satisfaction, happiness of leaving our memory to our descendants. Who are the descendants? A person who is related to you and who lives after you, such as your child or grandchild. For example, you are the descendant of your father. So that my descendants remember me, the people who come after me. That is my son, his son, and such kind of people. So they remember me. We too have to take our place in history. So the king also have to become a part of history, because he has to die and he will become a part of history. Along with our noble ancestors, a person related to you who lived a long time ago. Your ancestors are your grandfather, his father, and such kind of people are your ancestors. So I have to join my ancestors and I have to leave my memory to my descendants. Pingamigal, ancestors, Mungamigal, whose portraits adorn these walls, decorate, alangarikkuka. It is sad to think of death. It is sad to think about death. We know thinking about death is a sad thing. We do not know when God will think fit to summon us. So I don't know when God will summon me, call. Summon means call. When God will call me, that means I don't know when I am going to die. But our portrait must be painted. But my picture should be painted. So he has ordered Till to paint his picture. Okay, dear students, now let's look at some questions which will help you to understand the lesson. Do you think Till and his donkey are hungry? Give reasons for your answer. Do you think Till and his donkey are hungry? The donkey is not hungry because it has fed fairly well all along the way. But Till was hungry. Why? He had nothing to eat for the last 3 days. What does the Archduke want Till to do? So what does the Archduke want Till to do? The Archduke wanted Till to paint his portrait. Okay, next question. What is the sentence? We do not know when God will think fit to summon us mean. In the story, we have a sentence. We do not know when God will think fit to summon us. What does that mean? Yes, it means we do not know when we will die. Okay, now let's have a look at some additional questions. What was the decision made by the Archduke? To make Till the court painter. Next question. What was Till feeding upon? Good food and drink at the royal table. Where did Till leave Jeff? Till left Jeff outside opposite the palace. Okay, dear students, now you have an assignment. The Archduke feels that his portrait needs to be painted. After the dinner, he makes a conversation regarding it to his wife. Prepare a likely conversation. So the Archduke makes a conversation with his wife why he feels his portrait needs to be painted. So you have to have at least 6 exchanges between the Archduke and his wife. Okay, after you do your assignment, you will take a photo of it and send it to your teacher on her WhatsApp. Okay, thank you children and have a nice